1973 and the start of the tape ministry. Well, actually, we started in 1971 very quietly. And I can still remember that casual question by Tony as I was leaving the tab one Sunday morning. Do you know anything about tape recorders? And foolishly, I said, well, a little bit. What do you mean? And that's how it all started. And there's probably one or two people out there who've been gently eased into some ministry or other in that way. The way we did it in those days was that I used to just pick up a cassette recorder from Tony just before the service, and I'd pop down here and then record the preaching ministry, take the cassette back to Tony after the service, and Tony or one of his helpers would take this single tape and use it in visiting the elderly and the sick. And that's how it began. But gradually the word got out what was going on, that we were actually recording the tab's ministry, and we started to get requests. So we then obtained a second cassette recorder, and this is just a basic, ordinary, domestic cassette recorder. And we started to make tape recordings to loan and to sell to people. And it was really high tech in those days. It was done on the kitchen table, and it took an hour and a half to make one tape. And we used to set the timer on our cooker for 3/4 of an hour, and then the bell would go off and we'd go down and turn the tape over and do the other side. And that's how it began. By 1973, things were really hotting up. We'd actually got a catalogue out by then. And these catalogues, somehow or other, used to get to amazing places. They went to the four corners of the world. And we used to get requests virtually from every continent to send copies of Tony's ministry out there. I was trying to build up a tape library then. Tony was actually, I don't know if you remember this, Tony, he used to say, oh, rub them off and use them again. And I used to say, no, we can't do that. We must, these are precious. And we gradually built up a library of tapes. And the requests were rolling in from everywhere. We used to send them out to OM for use on Logos. Fortunately, about that time, we got a high-speed copier, and that revolutionized production. And so it's gone on. Used to get letters from all over the world from people who'd been helped in amazing ways by these tapes, thousands of miles from the tab. And often, as the ministry rolled forward, we used to get letters from people who'd had tapes of ministry recorded years before, and yet it had touched these people in amazing ways. So it was a miraculous ministry, all from that one question. You know anything about tape recorders? So praise the Lord for the work that he's done through that ministry over the years, which of course is still hammering on now. It's tremendous.